tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
And if you saw the episode tonight, you know why this is baseball themed.
Charge! Yes.
Nice.
B is for Big Glory. That's
yes,
why.
exactly. It's our Big Glory song. Of course, this is our A to Z after show, and I'm back with you, Stephanie Wenger.
And I'm Kanika Lal.
And you just said the title of the episode, which is B is for Big Glory.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear that, I just said, almost was saying Ben, Andrew, that's the actor's name. It's all good. Andrew is all about his Big Glory moment here. And we hear it at the beginning of the episode that he loves his baseball, and he goes back, and we kind of get that flashback of him, you know, having those big moments in his life, and Zelda doesn't believe in having big moments.
That was actually kind of sad,
seeing
her flashback. It showed her driving away with her mom from Philly, and looks like she didn't really have a good childhood. So it's actually kind of interesting to see little bits and pieces of the flashback.
I feel like we just got like a taste of it, though.
Yeah.
There's so much more. And that's actually, we were talking about kind of, now we're in week 2 of the show and past the pilot and kind of what we thought overall. And that, I think that's like my biggest complaint so far with the show, is I really think it's a sweet overall story, but that there's not a lot of depth to these characters. We just know she's kind of a non-believer, he believes in everything.
True.
And that's how far we've gotten with these characters. And mind you, it is week 2, so they have a long way to go, and maybe we'll get there. But it was interesting to see that flash of her childhood.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're definitely going to be teasing that a lot more in the next episodes, for sure. They have to, because I have a feeling that Stephanie, why did I call her Stephanie? Wow. Zelda's did not have a good childhood. Just taking that now, she's just like a tough person, doesn't take any crap, so to speak. But Andrew probably had a much better loving childhood, which is why he is right now. So
I'm excited to see Andrew's parents.
I know.
I think that will be so interesting. Is if are they like hippie? What's like? How did he become this believer in everything? Like we saw last week that he believes in the like flying. You like the board where it
the hoverboard.
Hoverboard.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I was just like, that's fascinating as an adult to still believe that that's an actual thing. So I'm excited to see his parents for sure. But let's jump into tonight's episode and talk about, so I think that it's a very interesting place. It's kind of that morning after like this big date situation, and he forgot that he had a date with another girl. He
was just too caught up in the love.
I mean,
can't blame him, you know.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, bam, he's like, I have a date tonight. Crap.
And Brooke, his date, seems a little unstable. If I had to guess, she's like, at one point we see her kicking the copier. I think we've all been there if you've worked in an office, but she actually does it, so props to her on that. And then, so he takes her on the date, and I love that Stewie, his friend, or Stu, says, like, you should totally go on the date. You don't want to be just for one girl. Like, it's not good to be that way. You'll become the crazy one, so you should go on this date.
Yeah, we should kind of stop listening to Stu's advice, I think. Yeah. They're not really giving the best advice here.
Absolutely. It was a little bit...
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that, you know, he told Zelda that he was going on this date. I think he should have just kind of kept it secret, because she did get hurt, especially because she bought the license plate for him.
I know.
She told her friend Stephanie. So, but hey, she bounced right back up, and she took another guy on a date who likes doing push-ups, right?
Yeah, that was like the one thing we knew about this guy, is that his name's, you're just like, oh, you like doing push-ups, and they have
His name is Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Matthew, and I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, it's Mike.
Mike. And he just seems like her polar opposite.
Oh yeah.
Not like nothing in common there. And she was just like, I need a date. So let's go on a date. And we kind of quickly jump to them being on the date.
Right.
Like there wasn't a huge transition, and he tells her, I guess that's the transition is he tells her that he is in fact going on the date, and she says, oh, I have a date too, and then has to scramble to find.
Exactly. Which wasn't hard.
No, I mean, of course not.
Yeah, we're talking about Mike here.
Yeah.
Why would it be hard?
Right, exactly.
He has no plans. He's just doing push-ups the whole night, so.
Yeah, what are you up to? Power bar and push-ups?
Exactly.
But I thought it was so interesting that was kind of their technique after that big kiss. I feel like on How I Met Your Mother, we would have gotten, not to continually compare this show to How I Met Your Mother like we did in our last podcast, but I feel like you would have gotten kind of the aftermath between the two of them, and this sent them on opposite paths for most of the episode until the very end. And I thought that was an interesting storytelling technique. It kind of delays the inevitable of them being together. So we kind of had this weird, I don't want to call it a filler episode, because I think a lot was revealed in this episode, but in a lot of ways it was kind of a pause, like hitting the pause button on their relationship.
It was a pause, but it was also like a test to see how much they really do like each other, you know, how much they really do want to be exclusive. And I love that. I love making the other person jealous. I mean, sorry, I don't want to sound horrible, but it just makes you feel wanted, makes you feel loved, and you know, like, wow, that guy actually does care about me because he's feeling threatened.
Yeah, so. I think there's a whole thing about letting, I mean, this is such a cliche, but letting someone go, and then if they come back, they're obviously more invested. And maybe that was what kind of the lesson tonight was. That
you don't know what you have until it's gone.
And
and
they were both so jealous of each other.
I know.
Because in some ways it would have been interesting to see him be super jealous of her and her less so. And what ended up happening was they were both super jealous of each other. And I really kind of thought it would be interesting, and I couldn't decide who was more jealous. That's what I kept thinking about throughout the episode.
Really?
Is Zelda more jealous? And they both kind of acted in extremely jealous ways.
Yeah. Zelda was definitely jealous. She took out her jealousy by asking Mike on a date.
Yeah.
And Andrew was jealous when he saw Mike shirtless.
And we mentioned last week that technology plays a huge role in this. Of course, the guys have the dating app that they work at, and we'll get into the new part of the new dating app in a few minutes. But
Big Bird.
Yes, exactly.
What a character.
Oh, Big Bird. Love that that's her nickname. Just it's phenomenal.
I know.
But they also shout out a bunch of apps tonight. So the first one, of course, was when Ben was on this date and he was like, I downloaded Waze, which is a traffic app that if you live in LA or anywhere with traffic, I'm assuming you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, I can track her as one of my friends. And honestly, I guess I've never used that part of Waze. I don't know if that is an actual thing on Waze, but it seemed a little creepy to me. It's like tracking where she's at exactly.
Right.
This is your producer. Yeah, I think you can track friends.
Oh, you can track friends.
You can track
okay.
friends, but I think you have to be going to the same location or something.
Yeah, he was able to track where she was on the date, and I thought that was super creepy, that he was at another restaurant and he was able to see like where she was in LA. But good to know that that's a thing that you can do.
That's super creepy.
Super creepy.
I'm really scared how technology is advancing like crazy.
I completely agree. But also I kept wondering, was that a product placement for Waze?
Well, they also mentioned Tinder.
Tinder?
So it could be, actually. That makes a good point.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's cool and creepy that you can do that.
I know.
It's like, I would not necessarily want to do that, but it shows how advanced they are.
I see mothers doing that for their children. Yeah. That makes sense. My mom's always paranoid about me. I'm sure your guys' mothers are the same way, but...
Yeah, I think they have family plans that you're allowed to do
that. For boyfriends or friends, like, relax.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole...
Just text me.
It's a whole other story, but they definitely... I thought that it was interesting that they were shouting out, because they want you to feel like these people kind of live among us.
Yeah, like we're just like them, using these type of apps.
Right.
Finding these dates through social media, so that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was interesting that Tinder, because their dating app that they use is basically Tinder.
No. According to Big Bird, you tap. we don't swipe. We tap. She made that very clear.
I'm glad you have the clarification for us because
I'm on Big Bird's side over here.
I believe it's Wallflower is a completely different entity than Tinder. We all understand. So that being said, I thought that it was sweet. And then Zelda's friend Steffi was using, I believe it was, Yelp. Because she was
stalking Andrew's date.
Brooke, who was writing a review on Yelp. Because that's what you do on dates. You totally would
Apparently she writes reviews for everything.
Yeah, and when I'm on a date, my first thought is, I'm going to write a Yelp review for this while I'm sitting at the restaurant.
Right? Yeah.
Because that speaks volumes.
Yeah, exactly. It was actually interesting because Brooke was there to make Andrew jealous. It's kind of that vicious circle.
Yeah, and Andrew kind of has to run out of the restaurant because he reveals that he's interested in Zelda. But then she reveals that her angry chef boyfriend.
Yeah, who was coming at him with a knife. Anyone would be that scared,
Man, way to make it comedy.
I know.
Big.
Yeah.
It was
dramatic.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought that was like a very kind of interesting. I just thought it was an interesting way to go in the second episode. It was not what I was anticipating.
I wasn't expecting that, which is actually a good sign. You know, when you watch a new show, when you're watching certain scenes that you don't expect. So that's good.
I agree. And we'll talk about the ending to their story in a little bit here. But let's jump into Steffi and Stu, who last on the pilot, we saw that they had an encounter together. But tonight they were completely separate. We didn't see that. That was kind of a drop storyline.
But it did show them kind of saying the same advice to their friends. So I was thinking, you know, they're actually so alike. In a matter of time, they're going to be together.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to
meant.
have some sort of fling go on.
See, I can't decide with Steffi if I want her to...
I don't want her with him.
Okay.
But just for the show's purpose, it might happen.
I think, like, I can't decide if they're going to be kind of that friends with benefits situation.
That's a good point.
And then have Zelda and Andrew be kind of the true love and have the comparison going on.
Right.
Or if it's going to take her a long time to come back to him. And as I mentioned last week, again, with How I Met Your Mother, that Neil Patrick Harris character of having the rotation of guys coming through the door. And we did not see that tonight. She's kind of acting as the wingman or wingwoman,
and the spy.
say. Yeah, the spy. I love that she was at home like she had nothing better to do than...
Well, she was supposed to be working on a brief, apparently, but nope, she was looking at Brooke's review.
I know. I like that they share an office, too. Like, I've never seen a lawyer that shares, like, the same desk. I was like, that's...
Okay, they share the same desk and the same room.
Yeah.
Like, they must be really good friends, not get sick of each other.
Right, exactly. I was like, you spend all day together, and then you go home, and you're roommates. So we don't want to introduce another character is what I'm really what I'm pretty much getting from that. But, you know, I mean, props to them. If you can make that work,
I know.
good for you.
Yeah.
And then Stu, I don't know. I just feel like he's kind of there for the one-liners.
Yeah, he's there for the wit. I think he's pretty funny, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we both laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has some good lines, but I want, again, that depth of character that we're not getting. I feel like I'm probably unfairly judging it because I think of shows that I watched for, 7, 8 seasons, and of course you know those characters better than you do in episode 2. Yeah. But I kind of am anxious to get there.
No, I agree. In every show, bringing it back to How I Met Your Mother, of course, I mean, we saw the flashback to everyone's life, and then we understood them better. So I think the writers are kind of just seeing how the first couple episodes go, then they're probably developing more depth for the characters, I'm sure. If not, then we have a problem.
I totally agree. And also, I was proud of us because last week we predicted the A-B C situation.
Well, actually, that was on Wikipedia or IMDb. That's a better source.
Yes. I mean, but
no, we predicted that before we saw that. Never mind.
I mean, I had not seen it yet of the list of names
That's
of the
good
episodes.
prediction on your side then.
Yay!
I cheated.
All right. Well, at least we did good research.
Yeah.
It's fine. Or you did good research, I should say. And before we go into the next part, this dating app and the final part, we should also mention that we love hearing from you. I had some tweets last week about the show, and so fun to hear what you're thinking. So you can always tweet at us, and you can also rate and comment on YouTube and on iTunes. And please give us 5 stars. Or if you don't want to, tell us what you don't love, and we'll try to fix it for you, because we're here to please.
Yeah, we want to hear feedback. We want to have good discussions, so don't be afraid to let us know.
Yeah, exactly. And I am great about responding on Twitter, as well as we all are on YouTube and iTunes as well. So something to definitely tell us what you're thinking. Are you into A to Z? That being said, are you into dating apps? Their new dating app is...
What, do you expect me to answer that? Because I'm not going to answer that on air. But.
No, I was just putting it out there in the ethers.
I have used it, though. I'm sure everyone has.
I kind of like this wallflower. I'm like, can we play with... that actually would be
like the name.
Yeah, that would be the greatest promotion for this show, actually, is if NBC created...
Oh, my God.
Wallflower, and you could download it on your phone and have it... I don't know how you would, tie it into the show. That's something you can definitely tweet at us about. I'm just thinking about this now, but,
Well, they make apps for every single show out there, almost.
Right. So there's got to be a way of having it be some sort of fun dating app, or it would pair you with characters on the show. There's got to be some way of making a super fun...
That's a good point.
Yeah. So something for NBC executives to think about.
As if they don't have that much time in the world.
No, I mean, they have a lot of fish to fry. But that being said, this dating app, Big Bird, wants them to beta test it in the office. And that just leads to... I can't believe she doesn't realize that it's going to lead to chaos.
I know.
She's just like, oh, it'll be fine. They'll tap each other. I'm so uncomfortable with saying that, but they...
well, yeah, I mean, Stu tapped the receptionist.
Yeah.
Remember that? They were using it in the actual office.
Yeah,
so.
and I think he tapped her, he said, correct me if I'm wrong, 8 times or something in one night, and I was like, you can tap the same person over and over again? That seems...
Yeah, he's tapping that.
Yeah. Really wrong.
Yeah.
And, making us talk
Moving on.
Yes. But they're very... I think, one, they need to come up with a new term, because...
From tap, you mean?
Yes.
I think they won't. That's too funny, actually.
No, I mean... I understand in a TV show that's hilarious, but having to talk about it now. So that being said, I think it's funny though that everyone was hooking up with everyone in the office. She was oh, and they go, where's, I actually forget the girl's name, where's blah blah blah, and they were like, oh, she's at the hotel, and I was like, you went from 0 to 60 very quickly, and then
we saw couples making out on the desk.
Yeah.
Definitely not allowed in an office.
Multiple massages going on. There was some
this could be happening at Tinder. You never know.
There was some serious office faux pas going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Really, really ridiculous. But they also seem to be concerned. They've actually, I don't think Big Bird was super concerned. I think Howard, this new character that we met tonight, seemed very concerned that this was going to lead to lawsuits. And smartly. And then I had another thought about how much fun would it be if it does lead to lawsuits and Zelda and Steffi get to come in and be the lawyers.
Wait a minute. We should see them in action.
Right? We should see them in action, or just also bringing them into...
you're right.
Into Wallflower.
Join the two companies together, yeah.
So just for even an episode, it would be so much fun just to see how they interact in Big Bird's world.
That's such a good point. Props to you. That should happen.
Right? Wouldn't that be...
That would be a really good show, actually.
So much fun to see them. And just Andrew trying to impress her.
What do you think Zelda and... Yeah, you think he would just be impressing her? Or
I would assume trying to impress her and show what he does. Because we know he works for the dating app.
Right.
Do we know exactly...
What he does, yeah. We know that Dinesh does the
like
programming, which we saw in the episode. But yeah, what does Andrew do?
I'm not sure if it's marketing or something else for it.
Okay.
And yeah, it's interesting because what does he exactly do? And they both seem to sit at this desk and not really do much, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Also, I love that Big Bird got no matches. And
poor Dinesh had to give her a match.
Yeah. And then she is like, you can tell, like, halfway flattered.
Oh, yeah.
Flattered, but also just like, this can't happen. I'm the boss.
Yeah. But she wouldn't mind if it happened, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I was just like, is that going to be like a Christmas party?
Oh, my God.
Experience? I don't know. So I feel like that's like office shenanigans at its worst.
Exactly. Getting drunk at the Christmas parties.
100%. Ridiculous. Oh, so many things to talk about with this show. But let's get to the ending here, which I love. I think the endings of both the pilot and tonight's episode have been my favorite parts of the show.
Right.
It kind of goes back to those sweet, like, classic romantic comedies, and they decide to be exclusive. And we get that in episode 2.
Yeah, and she kind of made that clear. You know, she walked into the office, she showed the license plate, which was adorable. I thought that he did that.
Yeah,
put their names together.
I'm assuming because we were kind of confused when he found out about the license plate, and I'm assuming she mentioned that they never have license plates of her name because it's so unique. So
but did he just go in the office and take it? That part was kind of a hole in the plot.
I think she must have mentioned it on their date that this was a thing. Then she got him one because it must mean something to her. It must be of some importance.
Yeah, we're going to get analytical about this. The point is he did it, right?
Yeah, he did it, and it was a very sweet thing.
Yeah, it was.
And put all the letters together, and it was like mismatched but perfect.
Yeah, I know.
Very sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, now they're exclusive.
And we get this awkward kiss at first, and they decide to like discuss everything. And they just, it feels like it's going somewhere really good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we know it does have an ending point somewhere, which I think is very unique about this show.
Yeah,
but
and
we just don't know how.
And that's probably a good transition into predictions.
Yes, predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I like to start with the broad question I started with last week, which is, at the end of this...
The Z, right?
The Z. At the end of this 8-month experience, where are we going to be?
Right.
Engaged, married, happy, unhappy? Where are we?
So last time, I think I still stand by what I say because it's a little bit too hard to tell right now about the Z. Definitely going to be getting engaged, definitely going to be getting married, but I do think they're going to have a divorce.
Makes me so sad.
The divorce either could, but the divorce could be the finale, and then they'll be picked up for season 2 and continue on from that. Or it could end from a marriage from a divorce, and she's expecting a child, which could be season 2 if they're picking up another season. So those are my 2 kind of predictions for the Z. But for the next episode, it's different. But
I will get into that in a second. But see, I said eloped at the end of the 8 months.
Yeah, you did.
And I kind of still want that.
Okay.
I could also see season...
Well, I have a question for you. Why do you want them to be... Why do you think they're going to be eloped? Like, do you think they have to run away from this?
No,
the parents are going to miss...
I think it's just going to be... They seem like they'll be up and down so much that at some point they'll be, like, blissfully happy. Because I feel like it's not going to be smooth sailing for the 8 months. Like, they're going to have differences because they're innately different people. Like, they have different views of the world.
Yes.
So at some point, I feel like they're going to find that bliss and just make a rash decision. Like, he will encourage her to make like her first big rash decision.
That's a good point. And the elope could lead to a divorce because elopes never sometimes go well. So
exactly.
Okay.
I also could see season 2 being a pregnancy and how they deal with parenthood and all of that if they want to fast forward the show that quickly. It depends on how slow they want to get to Z.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Also, it's interesting because Kristen and Ben themselves don't know what's going to happen, if you know that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a bit in News and Gossip as well. And that's super interesting and exciting. But I think that the next episode, we're going to see them kind of telling their friends that they've decided to be exclusive, and kind of maybe the backlash from that.
That's a good point. I'm hoping the parents come in the next episode.
Ooh.
I'm hoping at least one of the parents comes and visits. And then something will happen.
Maybe her mom? That would
Either her mom or his parents, yeah.
Yeah, something. I feel like that would be a really interesting...
And also, Kristen is a good singer, so I'm hoping she has a moment where she can show her skills. Because she's Tony-nominated and Grammy-winning actress.
I know,
so
amazing.
Hopefully
and
something in the next few episodes.
Also, if we're talking about who we want to come on the show, I would love to see Rashida, who, of course, is...
She should make a guest appearance. I love her.
Yeah, Rashida Jones, who's a producer on the show. And she will not give up any clues. I was looking at her Twitter, and people are like, what's Z? What happens at the end of 8 months?
Really?
And she will not reveal anything. She's like, you have to wait and see. So we're all here with bated breath.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, are you ready for some news and gossip?
Always ready.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right,
All
so...
right. What do we got, Stephanie?
No, feels like a lot of pressure. So Ben Feldman, who of course plays Andrew, did an interview with TV Line, and he talked about his past experiences doing different shows from Mad Men to Drop Dead Diva. And he kind of said that he didn't expect to be back in the romantic comedy world. He went on to Mad Men, and he kind of thought that he put that chapter behind him, and that he's really excited about this show, and that it feels good. And they talk about that he's a really likable character.
Yeah.
And
they do.
Yeah, and I thought that it's so true, because I think that that's half the battle on a sitcom, is making characters that don't annoy you, that don't go over that line, but rather, like, you want in your living room.
Right, yeah. He actually made a statement, I think, which was like, you know, I'd want to hang out with my character. You know, I would always be in a good mood with him. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that also, if Zelda doesn't have that happy childhood that we kind of, it was alluded to tonight, maybe that's the balance that they need, that he can be the likable guy and bring up her spirits when she's down.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where they balance each other out, because I'm still a big proponent of that at the end of 8 months, there's something happy that happens at least for a moment in time.
Exactly. So, we all love happy endings.
Yeah.
So let's hope.
Exactly. And I mentioned it last week, I'm a huge romantic comedy fan, I want the big kiss. Like, the end of that pilot was perfect for me. I want, like, every episode to end
with fountains and romance.
Exactly. But we'll see if that actually happens. Yeah. Be exciting. And, we should also mention that Kylie will be back with us.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she wasn't here with us in this panel, unfortunately, but she definitely will be back soon.
Yes, and we're excited to have her back. So that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with me and all of us here at AfterBuzz. You can tweet AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV, and you can tweet me at Stephanie Wenger.
And you can tweet me at Kanika Lol, and also on Instagram.
Awesome. See you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.